Yeah! Welcome to another Just Traveling Through video. We recently took a trip to Yosemite National Park, and we were first timers, and we thought we'd put together a 3-day itinerary for other people that might be planning to visit the park to help them out and share some information.
Perhaps those of you who are first-time visitors will be able to take advantage of our 3-day itinerary and make use of some of the places we went to see.
In addition to imagery and video that we took, we're going to throw in some maps to help you navigate and tips for visiting the park. We stayed at a place just outside of the park called Rush Creek Lodge, and we're putting it here because we really thought it was an outstanding place to stay.
It's only 1.5 miles from the entrance gate to Yosemite, very handy and very, very comfortable.
In fact, we ended up staying an extra night. It's a great place for families with daily activities. They have a huge game room, playground, ping pong. They even make s'mores sometimes in the evenings, but be careful, there's no TV. So if you want TV, not your place to go. But if you want to enjoy family time with your family outside in nature, this is your place. It's rustic luxury. And no, we didn't make any money to say that. We just really thought it was a great place to stay. And you can check out more information on the lodge at our website. We did a thorough review. Day one, we decided to go to Yosemite Valley and Curry Village.
Curry Village has a great set of things you're going to want to take advantage of. A big parking lot, a store, restrooms, a place to eat.
Yeah, several places to eat. You can rent bikes there. There's tenting and campgrounds and different types of lodging in the area. It's really the central location in the park.
As you can see from the map, Curry Village is about 50 minutes from Rush Creek Lodge, but it's a beautiful drive. Enjoy yourself.
So our first tip is get a guidebook.
Yeah, this particular book was just chock full of information, maps, and we used it over and over and over again. It was infinitely useful to us, so that we knew what we're seeing, how to get there, where to park, where to walk, etc.
Where to hike.
You can find it on Amazon and most better bookstores. This is Route 120 coming into the park from Rush Creek Lodge, and it's incredibly beautiful, as you can see.
The roads are windy and sometimes steep. There's a lot of turnouts where you can stop and take some pictures. Tip 2, get a National Park Pass.
The senior pass from the National Park Service is a huge bargain. It's $80 for your lifetime, and it covers your spouse.
For any park, for any national park. So this is El Capitan.
This is a huge pile of granite, 7,600 feet straight up.
And you can see it from almost anywhere in the valley. It's just stunning. So this is the entrance to Curry Village, which used to be named Half Dome Village, which could be a little confusing. Some maps still reference Half Dome Village, so just beware. Tip 3, make sure you go early.
Yeah, there's only so much parking, and it goes fast, and everybody comes early. All the hikers go out early, so parking goes quickly. If you can't be early, then come after lunch.
Yeah, if you're not there before 10, when everybody else gets there, you might have trouble finding a spot. Jumping right into tip 4, read the park newspaper that they give you when you enter the park.
It'll contain a list of events, times, and where to find them and where to park.
COVID restrictions, anything that's happening or not happening, it was really important, and we didn't read it when we got there. So our first activity was Mist Trail to Vernal Falls. It's easy to find the trailhead from the Curry Village parking lot. Just ask one of the guides or look at the signs that are there. And like our note says, the buses weren't running, so we actually had to walk a little bit further to get to the trailhead.
This trail is a short walk from Curry Village, and it's a steady ascent, as you can see in the video, but it's continuous all the way up to the bridge across the river.
As you can see, the trail is flat and well maintained. We did see a number of families on the way up with little kids carrying them or having them walk. It was pretty
Some
cool.
had pets.
Yeah, and the views all the way up were just amazing. You come around a corner and you'd see these magnificent vistas. It was incredible.
That's Mount Broderick in this picture. It's across the Merced River, but it was constantly behind us as we went up Mist Trail. And it's another one of those staggering Yosemite Park cliff faces that are just everywhere.
And here's an actual picture of the falls from the bridge right below it.
As you can see, the flow is not that magnificent right now, but the recent rainstorms in California during the month of October really drastically increased the flow of water over that rock.
Yeah, so I think in the spring it would be stronger. From what I've read, in the fall, a lot of the falls dry up, but Vernal Falls does run year-round, so you can hike up and see it, and it's beautiful. That's us at the top. Terry's hip was a little tired after his hip replacement earlier this year, so we stayed at the bridge and we didn't go up any further.
We saw a pack mule train coming down the mountain. We don't know what they were carrying, but we do know that Wawona Stables offers horse and mule rides in the park.
On the way out of the valley, it's a loop, and now we're coming out. We see El Capitan again. This is where you can access Yosemite Falls hikes. The falls were dry when we were there because we were there in September, and so we chose not to take those hikes. But this is the area where you could do those hikes, and we understand it's spectacular in the springtime.
There's also a turnout to reach the trail to El Capitan, but for all of those of us who are not sophisticated professional climbers, this is off limits. You need a special park pass to go up the mountain, and you have to have established credentials to climb it. So photos only, folks.
So day 2, we decided to go to Glacier Point. This is one of the other major things to see in Yosemite Park.
It is quite a drive because the road twists and turns like mad, and it's mostly one lane, so any kind of construction is going to slow you down like mad.
Also note on this, you can see how close Glacier Point is to Yosemite Valley. You can actually take a hike up there. It's a 4.8 mile hike up to the point. It's 9.6 miles round trip with a 3,200 foot elevation gain. So it's rated strenuous, and it takes 6 to 8 hours total. It's called 4 Mile Trail, and if you're experienced and in good condition, we understand it's one of the best hikes in the park. And you won't need to find a parking spot at Glacier Point, which is an added benefit. So we're coming up on Tunnel View Overlook.
This is probably the most heavily photographed area in Yosemite. You'll see it everywhere on YouTube and other image sharing sites.
That in addition to Glacier Point.
Yeah.
And El Capitan. Yep, and you can see after here we have another 18 minutes or so to get to Glacier Point. There are a couple of hikes that you can do just before Glacier Point, Sentinel Dome and Taft Point.
This is where a guidebook is really going to pay off because these are moderate trails according to the National Park Service, but quite frankly, don't take these trails unless you're ready to do some serious walking at altitude, by the way.
Now, parking for those hikes is only along the road, and it gets very crowded, so you might want to think about whether or not you want to do them on the way in to get parking places or on the way out. We've arrived at Glacier Point.
And we should point out that parking is very tight here. It's there's room for maybe 100 cars. If you get there late, you're going to do without until somebody departs and you can pull in.
Now you can see in the background there, that's called Half Dome. And you'll see here in a second, you'll get to see the valley. And as we walked up, I looked over the edge. I remember thinking, wow, it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Grand Canyon, but different because this is clearly a glacial valley.
Yeah, the view is just stunning. The valley is a long way below.
How old is that? Did you read?
Yeah, the valley was created by during the last ice age, and that's approximately 250,000 to 1 million years ago.
And Half Dome there in the background was named Half Dome because it actually looks like half of a dome.
For all of you familiar with John Muir and the impact he had on creating Yosemite, he took Teddy Roosevelt to Glacier Point to do some hiking and exposed him to Half Dome, Glacier Point, Yosemite Valley, and Sentinel Trail, so it's quite a piece of history.
Tip 5, pack a lunch for Glacier Point. Take advantage of the view, sit there with your lunch, and revel in the beauty that you see in front of you. So next, on day 3, we wanted to see some giant sequoias.
I chose this particular grove for several reasons. It's historically fascinating. It was the site of the first European American trappers to enter Yosemite Valley. It's also the trail that we were on to go down to the bottom and see the trees is the original stagecoach trail from Mariposa to Yosemite Valley. And the trail down is fairly moderate and it's reasonably close to Rush Creek Lodge.
Yeah, there are 2 other groves in the park, Tuolumne and Mariposa groves, Mariposa being the most popular. However, due to COVID, there was some logistical challenges in actually getting close to the grove. We would have to do an additional, I think, 5 miles just to get to the trailhead. So we decided to go to this one because it was close. A pretty easy hike for Terry with his hip.
Trail down to the bottom is 1.5 miles, and you're not going to see any giant trees until you get to the very bottom of the canyon. And at that point, you're going to be very aware of you're surrounded by these large sequoias.
It's interesting how the videos of the trees give you much more of a sense of how large they are than pictures themselves.
Take a look at any of these where one of us is standing in front of a tree and you get a much better idea how big these trees are. They're gigantic.
How tall are they in wide or diameter?
These trees are about 200 to 210 feet high with a diameter of 30 feet and a circumference of 23 meters.
When you get to the bottom, there'll be a cabin there, and that's how you know you'll be at the end of the grove. And that's it for our Yosemite video. Thanks for joining.
And thanks for watching the video. We had fun making it, and we had a lot more fun actually seeing it in person.
And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would be helpful. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Give us a thumbs up.